What's happening, Hardscapers? Today we're doing quite a complex lift and relay. Let's get into this. So this project is a client build from more than 20 years ago. These bricks are fairly old. Whenever I'm doing a lift and relay or quoting a lift and relay, I always look at the stone first. These ones do not have the built-in spacers because they're that old, probably close to about 20 years old. And then I always tell the clients that we've got three options for lifting and relaying. We've got the first option, which is lifting them, scraping out the bedding layer, because the bedding layer will typically have lots of roots in it and organic material just from over time, it's seeping into it. And we like to scrape out the bedding layer, replace it, relay the material. Very basic, no warranty on it, just because we can't guarantee what's been prepared by the base. We didn't prepare the base, but it's gonna look a lot nicer than it did before. And basically the life that you got out of it, you'll likely get that same life out of it again. Second option is replace the base, use the same material. Very similar, but we can actually put our warranty on it because we built it. Third option is brand new project. Now with this backyard, very nice natural backyard, I actually don't mind the look personally of these weathered pavers to go with the aesthetic, depending on what the aesthetic of the backyard is. But I still talk it through with the client, let them know the options and go from there. And this client decided to reuse the pavers, so that's what we are doing now. With this lift and relay in particular, we've got some pretty complex cuts that we want to make sure we keep a note of. Coming through here, another series of cuts, and then coming even further, we have pavers that do have the built-in spacers there now. So mixing of materials all of a sudden in certain areas. These are the older pavers, those are the newer pavers. Once again, older, newer, older along the border, newer, and you can also tell because they're actually different sizes as well. So you can't even mix the newer with the older because they went from imperial to metric at that point in time. So something we need to consider with all of this. You can see it's pretty dirty just because I did do a surface clean to get that built-in grit off of the pavers, get them clean, and then afterwards it's just a matter of actually brushing them off, giving them a rinse, and then we don't have to pressure wash all of that dirt and material into the joints. Now, another big issue with this is tight access. This is our entry point, but also where are we going to put the water? Because if you look all over, we are bordered by wood and elevation. We can't exit the water through here because of the gate and that step up. So we need to get that water all the way into that back corner. But how do we know that we have enough fall from here all the way to that back corner while keeping it away and working our slope away from all of the house, and know that from this point, as high as we can go to that back corner, to the backyard, is gonna have enough slope? Well, that's where this plays into factor. The Moser 2 Pro. Basically, all I did was took a measurement from here and all the way around to that backyard and all the way around back to here. Using its closed shape, I was able to calculate the area so I knew how much I was quoting for, but also know that from this point to that point, my run and my fall, or run and rise. And in this case, it was 1.1 feet from there all the way to the back there, which is gonna give us just over 1/8 of an inch per foot slope, which is perfect. We just have enough. Okay, final area that we've got to do here. Here's my game plan with this lift and relay. Very complex in everything that we've got going on here, but we're gonna start at the gate, get all this sand out, compact, bring in our HPB, start to screed and lay all these pavers on the side. And then when we get to this area, all those pavers are stacked over there. So we'll do the same thing in this area. And then for this area, beyond this wooden separator, those pavers are gonna go here, and I'm gonna lift these ones and put them here, and then those ones will go over here. So doing this in stages and trying to see where the best place to put our pavers for staging is probably the most crucial part of this process, but we are getting this going. We have a few different bedding materials on this project, and I feel like it's a good time to actually talk about bedding materials. So right now on this one, you can see that we have a very fine sand. This is like a play sand, could be a masonry sand, which you would mix in for a mortar mix. Very fine. You'll notice in like concrete sand, which you use for bedding material in a traditional dense graded base, it'll have subangular particles, sort of like this one, where it's those mixture of particles that allow for that drainage through even that dense graded base. Then we get over here, and now we've got stone dust, which everyone on this channel knows I do not like stone dust. Stone dust is a 1/4 inch chip down to dust, and it's the leftover materials from the quarry after they've created aggregates. It's just waste that they try to sell off, and that's the result. It packs very firm and does not allow water through it, as well as other materials, which leads to polymeric sand problems, which leads to efflorescence problems and heaving, because that it's like a sponge. It's gonna hold on to water. It's very bad. We don't like stone dust. But what we do like to see, and the reason why on this project we have HPB, or 1/4 inch chip, 3/8 inch clean chip, that means that there's no dust in it. It's clear of that. So water's gonna go right through it. It's not gonna hold on to it. That means you're not gonna have that efflorescence issue that you have with stone dust and the polymeric sand issues. The reason why we have a few mixtures of bedding materials is because I know the client said each of these areas got done at different times. So that's why we see HPB here. Starting to screed, lay. Now with this area, we are going to have a transition point, and we've already laid the paver walkway, got that in. It's looking great there. But once we get to this area where we have the water sloping away from the foundation, but also towards us this way, we then need to transition from this area to start to slope towards our backyard here, and that's where we're going to release the water, as well as towards the fence. So with that, we have a transition from sloping away to sloping this way, and that gets a little bit tricky, as well as making sure that we're going to have enough slope towards that concrete pad with where we are currently in our slope. But everything seems to be looking pretty good from here. And we'll just see how closer and closer we get to the top of the concrete. Hopefully we're looking good. So we put the level down, and there we are, just touching that line to get our screed bars set in here. Once again, these are sloping also towards this way, but at this one they're going to be level with one another, but still sloping this way. And then it'll be next one will have a slight slope this way, and then the next one will have a little bit more of an aggressive slope that way. but they're all going to continue to slope this way at the same rate, which is about 1/8 of an inch per foot. You have some cuts because whenever you do a lift and relay, it's never going to go down the exact same way you picked it up. That's just something that we let our clients know, but we'll also have to do this area afterwards. I saved that because we're going to touch up this area with some leftover pavers, and that just depends on how much leftover repavers have after this. Now when you get into all of these different details, this is why I just try to set things aside exactly as they got pulled up. But I also take tons of pictures. That way I can reference them and see where we're at with laying, making sure our cuts go where they're supposed to go, intricate cuts and design. Like these are a different size than these ones. And you can see that's the difference there in size. You can also see that these ones have spacers built into them. These ones don't. These ones are much older than these ones being newer. So that's our difference in terms of laying. But lift and relays take tons of pictures. I learned that very quickly with old projects.